Welcome, student participants and viewers. Thank you for coming. My name is Andrew Bourget. I'm the website editor for the Hayes Talisman. Let me just start by outlining the basic rules and how this panel will work. The panel is a student-focused discussion about the possible benefits and drawbacks of switching to full in-person learning. It is not meant to be a debate, and participants and viewers are expected to maintain respect for those involved. There's no hard fast limit on speaking time, but if you go beyond a reasonable limit, I'll give you a warning and then mute you if I feel necessary. The format of the discussion is simple. I'll present information and questions, and then we'll call on participants to give their response. As participants, you should refrain from using foul language and try to avoid repeating what other participants have said. If you want to respond to what other participants have said, refer to them as my peer instead of by name. If you want to be called on, use the raise hand feature or actually raise your hand. I'll see you. So that's fine. First, participants, I'll have you guys introduce yourselves. I'll start with Elijah. Just say your name, your grade level, and some activities you're involved with at Hayes. So, Elijah.
Hello, everyone. My name's Elijah Sharman. I'm a junior at Hayes, and I'm involved in both symphonic band and choir, Hayes Singers, and the musical this year.
Um, Hi. I'm currently a freshman, and I'm not really doing any activities this year, so I don't really know what to say.
I'm Jared. I'm a freshman, and I'm also not doing any activities this year.
Hi guys, my name is Maddie Richardson. I'm a senior. I'm involved with the Delaware swim team, wrestling, student council, and symphonic choir.
Hello, everyone. I'm McKenna Kilton. I am a senior this year. I am in a whole bunch of choirs. I am participating in NHS, the theater program here, and I feel like some other things, but that's the big stuff.
I'm Marissa. I'm a sophomore. I'm involved in color guard, student council, and then I'm in symphony orchestra and chorale.
The reason for doing the student panel is to amplify student opinions on an issue that will affect them most directly. In February, the Board of Education discussed the possible logistics of switching to full in-person learning. They explicitly stated that the online academy would be preserved should we switch to full in-person, but clear in their discussion was the fact that many facets of the school functions would require attention to transition. This included possibly having to change bus routes and assignments, monitoring class sizes, changing the planning that is already underway to administer state testing, and ensuring that the safety protocols already in place could be replicated when the student body in the schools is doubled. In a Talisman poll of Hayes students, only 24% of students said that they wanted to switch to full in-person. Over 63% said no, and 11% said unsure. My first question for the participants is, what is your general stance on wanting to switch to full in-person learning, and why?
So my general stance in this particular survey that you mentioned, I answered unsure because I do recognize that there are some very valid, very important positives and negatives to both situations, to both options. So I am excited to see what everyone has to say here today. But I know that either way, there are some significant benefits and drawbacks to both of the possibilities.
So initially, I had actually said yes, I wanted to go back just because, I think it'd be nice to everyone. But as I've done more thinking, I think it doesn't really seem realistic or really necessary to go back at this point in the school year. They say they want to go back kind of after spring break, which at that point we really don't have much time in the school year. And so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me to go back at that point. And another big thing is I just feel like adjusting class sizes and just all the adjustments that would have to be made would just be, again, unnecessary for the amount of time that we have left in the year.
My viewpoint on the whole matter is if the school can find a safe way to do it, I'm totally down. I think it is necessary. I have not been a fan of this hybrid schedule. I haven't really liked it. It's been really tough. And so if the school can find a safe way to do so, I think it is a great idea, but I do not know how possible that is. But if it is possible, I'm totally down. I think we should do it.
So clearly, I would love to go back without this situation involved. My grades need it, of course. Like, I would love extra help. I would love the socialization and that sense of normalcy. But just seeing everything that's going on, I don't think we should go back full time. I can explain further detail. I have like a bunch of notes pulled up and stuff, but just based on like how populated our school is and already how the hallways are right now, and the different schedules, and the different learning plans the teachers put into place already. Um, I just think it would be unnecessary just to go back, and especially with spring break coming up, it's inevitable that people are going to travel. So just having that, and then whatever that may bring back to school, it's definitely hard to control, especially with having what, like 9 weeks left, give or take, less or more. It's definitely a hard topic to like discuss, but I am for staying hybrid. So yeah.
I agree with her. I don't really think it's the smartest idea because if you look at our school's population just in hybrid, the hallways are packed and it's just not safe to get like bring everyone back. I mean, it has its benefits, seeing everyone, but at the same time, it's just really not, can't really do it right now.
Yeah, I feel it would be the biggest mistake our school has ever made if we were to reopen our schools completely. There are too many kids, and there have already been a ton of kids who have received COVID because we have went back to school. And I think it's imperative that we must go fully online for this fourth quarter and wait it out in the summer.
One of the main things that students responded in the survey, even some people who said that we shouldn't return to full in person, they recognize that doing so would help their grades. So my next question is, how do you think your academics have been affected by hybrid? And do you think that should be part of our discussion in wanting to return to full in person?
Of course, like if we went back full time, that would help me completely. I am more of like a hands-on, like in-person learning. It's so hard to do stuff on a computer or watch a video and try and get contact with your teacher when they're teaching another class group, cohort A or cohort B. Um, but it's definitely going to be like a hard topic to discuss. But I don't know, like, I think, like, obviously, I would love to go full time again, and my grades really need it, especially with, like, graduating and moving forward and obtaining new scholarships and stuff like that. But if there's, like, a way that they can, like, monitor, um, class sizes and stuff again and be able to figure out, like, scheduling, because I know, like, maybe more kids will go online if that full-time option was to be taken into place, and some schedules will even have to change. But I would love to go full back, but it's just with the situation we're in, it's kind of hard to say that it's safe.
I would say yes, absolutely. My grades have, been affected by this whole situation. As previously mentioned, it's very difficult to learn, in this kind of situation where we're not really being taught in person, where we're not completing activities in person, where, it's a whole different submission system of, getting your work in and getting practice on the things that you need practice in. So, in that way, absolutely, I think that that's an important part of going back full time. If, however, we can figure out the obvious safety risks and the logistical nightmare that would be putting twice as many kids back into a school building as we have now.
Personally, my grades have been better since the online change. Personally, I'm one of those people who like watching videos and like reading stuff rather than it just being told to me. I feel like that sticks in my head better. But I feel deeply that our number one concern should always be child safety. I mean, that's what teachers always told us their first job was to do. Whether our grades suffer or not is a sad thing that must be accounted for. And I think that there are other solutions for that. But going fully back to school would not be the answer, in my opinion.
So I definitely think that it should be a part of the conversation, but I don't think it should be a leading like topic because while our grades are important, every student is so different and individual that I don't know how we would generalize that. And I also believe that safety is the number one concern.
While I agree with the fact that safety should be the number one concern, I've been talking to a lot of people, and they've been like, yeah, man, my grades are really suffering. And like, I worry about the freshmen, sophomores with the OSTs. And, because those are happening this year, I believe. I might be mistaken. But like I worry that like people are going to get like aren't going to do well in their OSTs because their grades are suffering this year, and that could bleed into their OSTs, which could then just cause a ton of stress towards graduation. So I think if we do go back, if we find a safe way to go back in these last 9 weeks, we can really make a final push towards those OSTs, and that won't create future lasting problems in their junior senior years.
One of the questions we polled in that survey was, are you satisfied with the hybrid learning model? And surprisingly enough, 35% said neutral, 44.7% said yes, and only 7.9% said no. 12% were online students. In the aforementioned Board of Education meeting, Superintendent Kegley said that the district is making every effort to ensure the safety of students and staff. Do you as students feel that this statement is true within the hybrid learning model? If not, what more do you think the district can do? And if so, what do you think those precautions can be extended in a full in-person model?
I don't believe that there is anything currently that is not being done in our hybrid model that could be done to make it more safe. I mean, we have all the masks, we have, as much social distancing as is possible with the number of students we have and the space that we have inside school. And as far as, you know, having everything sanitized between classes and things like that, I think teachers are still doing a good job of that. But most of these issues will, like those things that we have issues with already, are only going to be compounded if we do go back full time. With the size, just the physical size of our classrooms, having twice as many students in those classes is not possible and it's not safe. The size of our hallways and just the volume of everyone needing to get through these small spaces in a certain amount of time, that's not going to be, safe either. So I think that while there's not really necessarily anything that we can do better while we're in this hybrid learning model, that, the things that we have to deal with right now aren't going to get any better with a full in-person learning model.
So I agree with McKenna completely. Also on top of that, I do agree like that the teachers are doing the best they can right now in this situation because they're teaching two different learning plans and some are ahead of the other. And at least for my teachers, they post videos over their practice problems and they give you multiple tries on Canvas quizzes and they are willing to have Google Meets with you. Some of my teachers even mentioned going to Panera and just working with you to get those grades and understand that up there. Also, with going back full time, someone I know that used to go to Hayes, she switched schools, just moved to different counties. Her K through 12 went back full time, and their cases were the most in Ohio recently. And it's not as if I know that my body can't handle COVID because I had it in November and it was not the most fun thing in the world. It's the people I bring it home to as well, like extended family and friends who have compromised immune systems. So it's just like being considerate of myself and the people I'm around every single day. I felt as if the teacher like administration didn't really bring the parents or family members into that topic whatsoever. But as far as like what we're doing now, I think they're doing as best as they can. I applaud them so hard for trying to keep us all safe.
Yes, I do agree. The teachers are doing a phenomenal job. All of my teachers have been very supportive during this time. They've been checking up very regularly, and even the people that clean the school and everything. Like every time I walk into a class, I see like people spraying down the desk, and I really appreciate that. And I think the system's really good. I also kind of want to bring in like if we do move to full time in, I think a good portion, a pretty decent chunk, will be online. I don't think Hayes will be at 100% capacity, you know? So like if that online option is still available, which I hope it is, if we do go back, then like Hayes like won't be at 100% capacity. So it'll be I'm not saying it will be like possible to do everything, but like a lot of people will still be online and it'll just be easier than like what we've seen like for my freshman sophomore year, like super packed hallways. I don't think it'll be quite that. It'll be close, but I don't think it'll be quite that.